When board games give us more, we're rolling with more. Hi, I'm Will, and with me as always is the person who has the very important Space Pants.
Sarah?
And I say that because we're reviewing Outer Belt.
Yes.
Alien Frontiers Outer Belt expansion.
And I need a belt to hold up my space pants.
Exactly. Sarah,
Yes.
tell us a bit about this game. Expansion.
Expansion. All right. So Outer Belt adds components for an additional player, expands the playing board with a sideboard representing a nearby asteroid belt. Staking a claim to an asteroid will give you resources, a derelict ship, or new alien devices. Expansion packs 1 through 7 provide more cards to be used with all the existing mechanisms. Okay, so let's dig in a bit more to what this expansion and the packs actually introduce. So Outer Belt, you're going to get player components in orange, a asteroid board which goes along the side of the main board, asteroid cards that are specifically for this new board, and then more alien tech cards that just get shuffled in. Now the expansion packs are kind of interesting because they all just kind of add to what exists. There's more alien tech cards, there's agenda cards which were introduced in the factions expansion. There are reference cards, and a lot of these reference cards are like for the different factions to make it easier. If you're playing a faction, you just have a little card next to you that reminds you of what all the stuff is, which is really nice. And then of course there's more asteroid cards for Outer Belt too. So these packs just kind of cover the gamut of anything that might have been missing in terms of reference material, as well as new cards, new options.
Or a few ideas that they had that just didn't make it into the initial print run or something.
Exactly. So let's talk about the two-player experience. The new sideboard, just like the base game at 2 players, you're going to have overlays. You're going to have to put them on to restrict the spaces that you can put your ships on. There is also a new territory on that board at the bottom. So this further lessens the area control competition, which, as we discussed in our Rolling with 2 of the base game, is really not there anyways.
Right. It's even less so now.
It's even less so, which may or may not be good for those who do or don't like it.
You would like it.
I like that there's a new area. Accessibility. Okay, so one of the downsides of this new asteroid belt is it moves almost every turn. You're going to, at the beginning of your turn, so this is everybody's turn, you're going to roll a die. And I think you have like a 50% chance, or is it more than 50% chance?
I think it's about 50. It either is a blank side or a little asteroid side.
Yeah. If the die rolls an asteroid, the asteroid belt moves. So you have to take off the bottommost card. It goes under the deck.
If there's one there.
Yeah, if there's one there. Then you slide every card down. If there were spaces because somebody took a card, you keep those spaces. Nothing fills in, so you keep the spacing between the cards. So you're going to slide them down, and at the top add a new card from the deck. So this additional manipulation aspect could be challenging, 1, to remember, 2, it's a mobility thing. Hopefully you have enough people at the table you can share the responsibility, but it's usually probably going to fall to whoever is literally sitting closest to the board.
And it might make you a little bit dizzy if you're playing a 4-player game.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because by the time it got back to you, it's like, well, everything I planned for doesn't exist anymore.
Possibly, yes.
So, yeah,
there's that. So that actually leads right into our next point, is the complexity of this timing on the asteroid belt. At 2 players, you're going to be able to do the timing much better. So what we talk about timing is each space of the belt, you need specific numbers. I don't remember it exactly, but I think it was like 1 and 2 at the top.
Yeah, and then 2 through 4.
No, I thought it was...
And then 3 through 5, and then 5 and 6.
Yes. So you have some overlap of numbers in the middle 2 spots.
Yes.
And all of them. Anyways.
Yes.
So if there's a card at the top that is normally just 1 and 2, you literally cannot place any other dice, even if the card itself says it needs a die of that location plus a 5. Well, if it has that, you literally can't take that card till it gets down to the one of the bottom 2 spots.
Right.
So that could be an extra complication for people in trying to plan. Mm-hmm. Plus, depending on the number of players, you may not be able to plan. I mean, in other words, the card you want could be gone if you're in a high player count.
Yeah. You're like, I saw it out there and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
So, yeah, so that is definitely going to be a challenge. And also, as much as I like that they've been providing really bold colors for their player pieces, orange can get confused with the red pretty easily. I mean, if you have really, really bright light, hopefully, but if you've got colorblind issues, they're probably going to blend. I don't think orange would have a problem with any other ones, but like we talked about in our Rolling with 2 video of the base game, if any of these player components, like if there's not a single color that works for you, there's simple components enough that you could replace them all with something else.
Yeah. The most thematic ones, though, being the rocket and the colonies. Hopefully you can still find a color that works enough.
Because finding substitute pieces that are still space themed, maybe if you have Lego around, you could...
Yeah, build something.
We could build something, raid your Lego.
Yeah.
Or your kids' Lego. Okay, I think that covers accessibility. So before we get to how our ratings change, let's talk about what we like. There's more choices now.
Yeah, it completely shifted the whole focus of the game, where it was this tight sort of worker placement, die manipulation game. And now it opened up the space to do stuff in space. Do what you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I really like that resources was actually kind of easier from the belt. Now, granted, it's random. So if like you need ore now, you have to go to the mines. But there could be cards that give you both ore and fuel.
Yeah, you got hybrid actions coming out of the asteroids now.
Right. Now, some of them are still tricky to get, but if you can get them, then you can actually be more efficient getting an asteroid card than the original board spaces, especially if those spaces are filled up. Like if the mine has your opponent's like 6 in there and you don't have a 6, you're not getting mine from the ore anyways, but now there's a possibility for the asteroid. And that's just one example.
Yeah, we also noticed that because the asteroids are so versatile and have so much benefit, things like the tech cards got less important.
Yeah, I think in the game that we played with this, I got like 2. And one of those was my starting tech, which I never used. It just wasn't important.
I might have gotten 3 by the end of the game.
I think you did get a few more just because you were having trouble getting the asteroids.
Right. For some reason, the asteroid timing worked perfectly for your brain, and the dice you had, every time I rolled it, like, nope, still nothing in the asteroid belt.
I think you may have gone once or twice.
Yes. And I was like, well, I got something. And I think one of the reasons why I did it was because an agenda card kind of pushed me to do it.
Right.
So I was like,
so
sure.
That's kind of the interesting thing, I think, that asteroid belt mechanism, how it works, is going to work really well for some people and not so much for others. But the great thing is that just opens up the board. So for the people that it works for, they can do it and they don't have to be so frustrated or crazy about trying to get spots on the main board and I think it can balance things out. I think it will definitely help higher player count games.
Yes. However, though, I think, who it's for will have to raise the skill level.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we didn't mention with the asteroids is, okay, I went through the whole trouble of getting the asteroid. Got it. I don't immediately have it. It's being towed to my area.
That's true.
It doesn't become available to me until the beginning of my next turn.
That's true.
So there's even an additional little timing element in
and
there.
It can get stolen.
Yes. Just like tech cards.
Just like tech cards, it can get stolen in progress. Now, most of those asteroid cards, once you get them, usually you're going to sacrifice it to get the benefit. They're a one-time benefit, but there are some that stick around. Like you can rescue pilots and ships.
I think one was like just worth a point.
Yes, some of them are like derelict ships. You're just worth a victory point, but those can get stolen. So there is that. I think that covers everything that we like and kind of don't like. So how did our ratings change?
Okay, so for the base game, I gave it a 5, you gave it a 4.
Yep.
Did Outer Belt, the Space Pants Holding Game expansion, change Annie, for you.
So if you watched our Rolling with Reviews for the base game, you'll know that I was kind of on the cusp between a high 3 and a low 4. This puts me solidly at like middle 4. I mean, middle to top 4. I'm a 4 now. This is definitely, I really like this game with Outer Belt, but I don't think it ups it enough to really roll it over to a 5 for me. It's just now a solid 4. I really enjoy it. For some reason, that the Outer Belt mechanisms work for my head, and I really appreciate it.
Got it. For me, it did roll down to a 4.
Oh.
Now, the reason being, I feel that this expansion cuts off a whole chunk of the audience. There are just casual fans that this will just never hit the table with. Now, with that said, I am in the group that will still play with this game and this expansion. And that's perfectly fine. I have a great time, but it kind of feels weird to endorse an expansion knowing that I've just left behind a whole lot of people that I would have otherwise had a great time playing Alien Frontiers with. So
Fair.
that's why it hits down 1 pit for me.
Okay.
So 8 out of 12.
So not as good as, I think it's still one of those things. Alien Frontiers as the base game is just solid. And the expansions are really going to be kind of like adding seasonings to food to taste.
Yes.
You add what you like to taste and you don't play with what you don't like. Because I don't think I've heard people who absolutely love Outer Belt, hate Outer Belt. Same thing with factions. So
yeah, it's to your choice. Vanilla is the base game. And these are all the jalapenos and the chocolate mint flavors that can just be a little extreme for some people.
I agree. So just to wrap this up, who this is for, as we alluded to, this is going to be for experienced gamers only, people who really play a lot of Alien Frontiers and know the game backwards and forwards and want more to do in the game. This would be a good one to get.
Yes.
Of course, this particular one for the old edition, this is really hard to find. So if this does sound good, the only way to really get this now is to buy the new Edition X, which is everything. It is a bit pricey.
I think the only thing it doesn't have is rocket dice.
Yeah, I mean, the good news on the rocket dice is so many people have actually made 3D printed files for rocket dice. You could make your own. You could also go out and get crystal dice, but that's not quite the same because it doesn't have the rocket design.
Yeah.
But it's basic dice, but it does have everything, so you don't have to try go and hunt down this Outer Belt, which had like 1 printing or something.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Sarah.
Yes.
Everybody knows about your space pants now.
I guess so.
What do they look like?
Well, they have to be shiny, and they have stars on them. So shiny stars.
Fancy.
What about you? Do you have space pants?
No, that just sounds silly.
Of course it does.
And we've been rolling with more. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you. Because remember, he's rolling with you.